say Crawford. If you go down the list and ask me about tactical advantages, most of them are Crawford. What Canelo has is size, and as a result, physical strength.
Neck as wide as Broadway for crying out loud. Right. The thing that I don't like about Canelo is that it's like almost every shot has to be a power shot.
They both hit hard. Because and you can see the strength. You know, when I was fighting against Crawford, I didn't think Crawford was that strong, but when he kind of moved me around a little bit, he is very strong as well. So look, yeah, but why does he need to give that much away? He's pound for pound #1 in the world. Why does he have to go up and fight Canelo?
Max Kellerman and Stephen A. Smith broke down the highly anticipated clash between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford, with Stephen A. predicting a Crawford victory by decision but urging caution, recalling Gervonta Davis's warning that Crawford could find himself in trouble if he engages too much. Given Canelo's natural size and power advantage, Stephen A. emphasized that Crawford's path to victory lies in his defense, speed, and ring IQ rather than trading punches, as both analysts agreed that strategy, not strength, will ultimately determine the outcome.
And a neck as wide as Broadway for crying out loud. Right. The thing that I don't like about Canelo is that it's like almost every shot has to be a power shot.
Power shot, yes.
And that's not beating Crawford. I will confess, I think Gervonta Davis's trainer, Cal, I think he said this. He said Crawford could find himself in trouble, and I'm not sure it was him, but I think it was him. He said Crawford could find himself in trouble if he decides to engage with Canelo, because Canelo is the naturally bigger, strong fighter. And I don't care that Crawford's gotten bigger, and I don't care that Crawford's going to go in there just as big as Canelo. Canelo is accustomed to fighting at the weight.
Max Kellerman pointed out that Terence Crawford's overall skill set appears sharper, giving him a clear technical edge, while also acknowledging Canelo Alvarez's durable chin and naturally larger frame that provides strength in exchanges. However, Kellerman noted that Canelo has not looked as dominant or crisp in recent performances, showing signs of slight decline, which makes this matchup a compelling clash of Crawford's timing and precision against Canelo's size and resilience, ultimately framing the fight as a battle of skill versus durability.
A great chin. But in terms of, if you want to go skill for skill, especially the recent version of Canelo, who's had to turn into a seek and destroy guy, who had to learn as his career went on to cut off the ring and not just follow guys around. Like Lara, Trout, Floyd, he followed those guys around. He had trouble because he's really a natural counterpuncher who wants you to come to him. But in recent years at super middleweight, he's gotten really good at cutting off the ring. Again, last fight notwithstanding. So as an overall suite of skills, recent vintage, it's been Crawford.
Okay.
But Canelo also is skilled and has a larger skeleton than Crawford. No matter what they weigh, Canelo's the bigger guy.
Yeah. You briefly mentioned Canelo's power, so who I would assume Canelo has the
You'd have to think, unless Crawford was on a knockout streak until he moved up to junior middleweight and then failed to stop.
Tarver, a respected boxing analyst and former champion, openly voiced his support for Terence Crawford while acknowledging the massive challenge this fight presents, noting that although Crawford has consistently proven himself across multiple weight divisions, this bout represents an entirely different level. Tarver emphasized that not only is this Crawford's toughest test to date, but it also presents Canelo Alvarez with a challenge he himself has never truly faced before.
You know, I'm Bud County all the way, but this is going to be the toughest fight, the best fighter Bud has ever been in the ring with. And arguably, this could be the best fighter Canelo has ever been in the ring with. We'll find out which one is which on September 13th.
Antonio, I appreciate your time. Safe travels back home.
Man, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Antonio.
Timothy Bradley Jr., known for his sharp boxing IQ, predicts the opening round of Canelo versus Crawford will be a cautious and calculated affair, with both fighters avoiding unnecessary risks while analyzing movement, timing, and openings. He notes that Crawford is especially patient in the early stages of big fights, preferring to study his opponent before setting traps, while Canelo often uses the first round to gauge distance and make adjustments as the fight progresses. Bradley emphasizes that this chess-like approach means the first round will likely feature less fireworks and more tactical exchanges of information.
To feel his punching power as well. You know, in the beginning, it's all the position balance. Like both guys are going trying to get balance and trying to find their rhythm. You know, understanding their distance to where they can punch and at the same time avoid getting hit. You know, it takes Crawford a little bit more time than I would say Canelo to get right to it. Canelo, although he is a prolific counterpuncher, fantastic counterpuncher, you know, he tends to find his spots a lot quicker. You know, and the indication of that is when, if you look at any of the boxers that Canelo has faced, Trout, even Danny Jacobs, even when he fought against Charlo, you just check out the first round. You know, he usually takes off, just feels the power, you know, cruises, you know, see what these guys know, couple of feints, level changes, you know, gathering information, right? Crawford does the same and similar things. So I think the first round's going to be a little like calm and cautious round by both fighters. But in the second round, Canelo's going to start applying that pressure, man. Key engagement with Crawford is a little bit more difficult than a Charlo, okay? And let me explain this. So pre-engagement is the movements before you get into that sweet spot, which is mid-range, to be able to let your hands go, right? Both guys are trying to counter each other's movement. Both guys are looking at each other's, you know, hands, trying to anticipate what they believe is going to.
Amir Khan, having shared the ring with both Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford, offers a unique perspective on this matchup, emphasizing that Crawford has already secured his legacy as an all-time great within his natural divisions, particularly at welterweight. He cautions that boxing has weight classes for a reason, warning that moving up against naturally bigger fighters carries significant risks, and argues there was no real need for Crawford to take on the immense pressure of facing Canelo. Still, Khan acknowledges the ambition and boldness behind Crawford's decision, viewing it as an attempt to silence doubters and achieve what few fighters in history have done, defy the limitations of weight divisions. Yet, he makes it clear that while Crawford is elite, stepping up against someone as powerful as Canelo is a dangerous gamble that could either elevate his status forever or put his career at serious risk.
The build-up, they're nothing but respectful. Yeah. I just feel that, you know, in boxing, weight divisions are made there they make him for a purpose, and I highly respect and say pound for pound the best fighter is Crawford by far, beats anyone. But when you start putting weight on and you go up a weight and you fight these guys like Canelo, even though Canelo might be now getting a little bit older and might be slowing down a little bit, but he's still going to be very dangerous. That punch power, you're still going to get tagged, you're still going to get hit. You're going to have to spar heavier guys to get ready for that anyway. So you're going to be taking a lot of wear and tear anyway. You're going to have to adding a few pounds on. Does he need to put that pressure on himself? He's done what no one's ever done before. 2-time undisputed world champion. So why not just enjoy? But obviously you want to go for that next challenge. Now for him, he wants to go for that Canelo. I would advise him not to go for that. But if he's the man and he knows how good he is himself. So I can't really say to him that do this or do that. So really,
he believes in his skills. He
believes in his skill. We can't answer for him. Yeah. We let him go and do it. You know what I'm saying? And we all might be wrong. Yeah. He might be even stronger than Canelo. He might pack the weight on well. Yeah. That he might do really well in there. So look,
you fought them both. Like what are the differences between them? Obviously, it's weight.
Canelo's strong and he's easily hit. Very easily. Compared to when I fought against Crawford, I couldn't even hit clean. Yeah. So really, that's the difference. And they both hit hard. Yeah. Because and you can see the strength. You know, when I was fighting against Crawford, I didn't think Crawford was that strong, but when he kind of moved me around a little bit, he is very strong as well. So look, yeah, but why does he need to give that much weight? He's pound for pound #1 in the world. Why does he have...
Tom Loeffler views the event through the lens of business and spectacle, noting that Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford are two of the biggest names in boxing, each commanding massive fan bases that span different demographics and nations. He argues that few modern-era fights can match the magnitude of this showdown, as it represents not just a clash of skills but a collision of empires, Canelo's established reign as the face of boxing against Crawford's rise as a pound-for-pound king. Loeffler believes the hype is fully justified, stressing that it is rare to see two fighters of this caliber agree to meet, especially when weight differences and legacy stakes are involved.
It's huge. It doesn't get any bigger than that, and get any bigger than that, and you know, you got to give credit to both guys. They're both very confident. They both have very passionate fan bases. You know, Callum, you know, having fought in Dublin, packed the arena out there in the free arena, having fought at Madison Square Garden 3 times, fought in Boston, and then Fernando Jr., you know, from one of the biggest boxing name families, you know, in the history of boxing. He's going to bring out a huge fan base. So it's a really exciting addition to, you know, such a big show that, like I say, doesn't get any than that for sure.
I agree. You know, I think that you, along with me, have seen some of these criticisms of the undercard. But really, when you look at it, I mean, we both know Colin Walsh so well. The personality and the authenticity that he brings to the sport is just so sincere. He's so real. You know, being from Ireland, coming overseas to train and dedicate his life to his craft. And his personality is so magnetic that it obviously brought someone like Dana White to be a huge supporter of it.
Trainer Dave Coldwell highlights Terence Crawford's unique style, praising his seamless ability to switch stances and his masterful footwork that allows him to control distance. He points out that Crawford's leg movement is one of his most underrated weapons, enabling him to create angles, frustrate opponents, and dictate the rhythm of fights, which could prove crucial against a powerful pressure fighter like Canelo Alvarez. Coldwell believes that if Crawford can maintain his mobility and avoid being pinned against the ropes, he possesses all the tools necessary to outmaneuver Canelo and accumulate points on the scorecards.
I've always fancied Crawford. Just think different. Something about him. I think if you add what Crawford's good at, switch, he's very good at southpaw. His judgment at distance is fantastic. His punch picking is fantastic. He's got good legs. When you add what, and he can pop. I mean, listen, I'm not saying he's got the power to hurt Canelo, but he might have the power to surprise Canelo a little bit and just sting him and just. But when you look at what Crawford does well, and then I look at this version of Canelo, as Canelo's got on, his punch rate's gone down. His feet have never been the fastest, but he's always had good placement of feet. His feet aren't the fastest. And he loads up. He loads up. And he don't really like boxing at a pace. So I kind of look at that and I think Crawford can manage his way through the fight to win it on points. I think he can manage moments, tough moments. When Canelo detonates a big shot on him, he's going to know about it because Crawford's been out before. When Crawford gets hit, he does get hit. That's why he's exciting. He does get hit. So that means that Canelo could land on it. I just think that Canelo will land a bomb. Crawford knows enough to tie up, to get off at an angle, to get that.
Jeff Mayweather zeroes in on weight and natural size as one of the most critical factors in this matchup, noting that Canelo Alvarez has long dominated at super middleweight, a division perfectly suited to his frame. In contrast, Terence Crawford is moving up to a weight that isn't truly his own, raising questions about how the added pounds could impact his speed, stamina, and durability. Mayweather emphasizes that Canelo's comfort at this weight provides him with a built-in advantage, as he won't need to make drastic adjustments to his body, unlike Crawford.